let's do the memos. So the memos are very, very specific, okay, in the formatting, all right? Extremely specific, okay? There's no leeway in the formats, okay? So I usually focus on the formats first and then get into the content, okay? So you want to make sure when you do the memos that you adhere exactly to the memo formatting. So the first thing at the top should be memo. Bold. And I think at 22 point type, that might be a little too big, maybe 18. But it should be bold and it should be relatively big, but not too big. You're going to have the date. You're going to indent and then start the date. It's going to be 2 from Ari. And then you're going to have a line, and there's going to be a space here, and there's going to be a space there. The margins, I would do 1 inch on the top, 1 inch on the sides, and 1 inch at the bottoms. And then once you edit the whole thing, you basically center the whole thing in the page, or slightly higher towards the top. And give yourself a nice margin. Let's do stocks first. Once you do stocks, then you can do oil, gold, bond prices, and then US dollar values. Stock prices forecast to rise 3% over the next 3 months. And you can fit that all on one line. Should be in upper lowercase. When you say 3% in 3 months, put in the numbers. Because when we're scanning these things and reading them, we're looking for numbers as opposed to being spelled out. First sentence. We are tracking stock prices. Period. We are tracking stock prices, oil prices, gold prices, bond prices. We are tracking the value of the US dollar. Based on our research, comma, we forecast stock prices to rise, not increase, to rise 10% over the next 3 months, period. Therefore, we recommend the following 36 trades. this should be bolded right here. Stock prices to rise 10% over the next 3 months. That should be bolded, because that's your key takeaway. And 36 trades should also be bolded. So everything basically is in that first. Oh, I did that wrong, sorry. I jumped the gun. The next one's based on the following factors. Semicolon. 1, rising earnings expectations. 2, low interest rates. And 3, sell-off in bonds and purchase of stock. Therefore, we recommend the following 36 trades. Semicolon. 36 trades needs to be bolded, needs to be bolded. Then you're going to have your indexes, you have your ETFs, and you're going to have your stocks. You're going to have 3 indexes, 3 ETFs, and 5 stock. How are your tables? How are your I think most of your tables look pretty good. Yeah, I think you weren't doing the upper-lower case.
Yeah.
So you got to do upper-lower case on the trades. In these columns, need to be equal width of each other. They need to be spaced equal. Then you're going to have your trades, the sub-trades. You're going to have your tickers down at the bottom, right justified. You're going to right justify the tickers. And then last here is going to be a total 36. Just make sure that your trades, if they're going up, you're going to buy the forwards, buy the futures, buy the calls on the futures, write the puts on the futures. Buy on margin, buy calls, write puts for both the ETFs and the stocks. The trades have to be specific, okay? If the prices are going to down, you're going to go down, you're going to write forwards, write futures, write calls on futures, buy puts on futures. For the ETFs and the stock, you want to sell short, write calls, and buy puts. So you have to use exactly those trades, okay? Then underneath the table, and make sure there's a space between the table and the graphics and the text. Then you're going to put in 3, maybe 4 bullet points. Now these bullet points, you you have to include in these bullet points, you have to include data. Stock prices, stock indexes, levels, percentage changes. You have to conduct the analysis, okay? And give me analysis. Because we read these bullets, you're providing us information on index levels and price levels, trends in the indexes and the price levels, and percentage changes. Off to the side, you need to have two graphs. In the graphs, right side has to be along the margin. Okay? You can't have the graphs in the margin. It's got to be alongside the margin. In the two graphs, there needs to be a space between the two graphs, and the graphs have to be of equal width and equal length. So they have to look identical to each other. They can't be of two different sizes, and they can't be in two different positions within the page. They have to look exactly like each other. And they have to look like graphs. They're not squares, they're rectangles. Okay? So they have to look like little mini graphs. Okay? And the charts, the graphs, you gotta have the time period at the bottom, so the years, and I gotta be able to identify either the index level or the price level here along the side. And there needs to be a title, either embedded in the graph so I can see what it is, or there needs to be a title put on top of the graph, on both of them, so I know what I'm looking at. Okay? Now, the graphs are important because what I can do from the graphs is I can identify support and resistance. I can identify trend, and I can calculate the percentage change over time. So ideally, the analysis that you have in here is a description of the analysis that you've conducted here, either based on technical analysis, or you're describing the run-up or the trend or the correction or whatever's being illustrated within the graph. And over here, you're not only writing up about the change in the levels, but you're also giving economic factors that are driving the indexes of the prices up or down. You're starting to give me analysis. The content here can be taken from multiple articles. As you read more articles, you're going to start talking about data and facts and trends and percentage changes and economic factors that are driving the markets up and down. So what you can do is you can take an article and edit it down. So you're not plagiarizing, just copying and pasting it into the bullet. Or you can take multiple articles and edit them into a bullet point, or multiple bullet points. So you're synthesizing from multiple articles the bullet, the context here. And these should be very dense paragraphs, or no more than 2 sentences, maybe 3 at the max. there needs to be a space between each of the bullets, and the line spacing, the line spacing for these and for the whole memo is single line spacing. Also, you have to give some white space, not too much, but a little white space after the text and after the graph before you get to the concluding paragraph. And you need to give some white space between the paragraph and the table and the graphs. So the spacing creates rest for the reader and guides them through the process. Things are all contiguous to each other. It sets off some cognitive dissonance, in our brain, because we're really looking to perfect these memos as a communication tool to senior management. So the quality of these memos have to be really, really high. Because imagine if I'm a managing director and I'm submitted 5 of these, right? Every single or every other day, I got to go through like 180 of these things, right? Every week. So the formatting is critical so I know exactly where the data is, where the information is, and where the recommendation is very quickly, so that when I skim through these things, it only takes me like 5 seconds before I know exactly what you're trying to do. And then I can take from the stack of trading briefs, these are basically trading briefs, from the stack of these things, I can skim them. I got a rejection pile, I got a follow-up file, and I got a funding file. These are the trades and recommendations that are going to be funded. These are the ones that, for some reason, it didn't make sense. So I got to follow up with the managing director to find out what was going on here. And then these were just out, rejected trades. They didn't make sense. There wasn't any supporting evidence, for the forecast. They were maybe using the wrong indexes or stocks or ETFs in there, so it was a little misleading, and it wasn't convincing or compelling enough to motivate me to fund the trades. Okay? Then lastly, what you do is you take this paragraph, the introductory thesis statement, and you copy it over here. Copy and paste into the concluding paragraph. And you only have to make 2 changes. You change following to above, and you change the semicolon to a period. That's all you have to do. Because what happens is the people on the investment committee and the senior board members and the managing directors that read these, they're going to read this. They're going to check and look at your trade recommendations. They're going to read your supporting evidence and data. They are going to conduct technical analysis on the charts that you gave me, or us. And then you need to tell us again at the end why it is that I'm giving you $25 million to fund your trades, to execute on the recommendation. Okay, any questions? So can you bring me 3 memos next week? Stocks, oil, and gold. And then we'll do bond prices and US dollar values. did you have any questions on, any comments that were put on your memos? No? Okay. Any